Hi, everybody. Welcome to Goshen Prepping. Thanks for joining us. Today, we're going to talk about 12 things that were rationed in World War II. Why? Well, in case you didn't read the newspapers, it looks like World War III is on its way. The idea is stockpile now so you don't get caught off guard and have to worry about rationing when the time comes here. So we're going to go through each of these, but even more importantly, how to stockpile and how to prepare so that way, again, you're not caught off guard. Let's get into it. Number one, fuel. Obviously, during World War II, gas and diesel were not readily available. I mean, even today we're seeing ridiculous prices, and my best guess in the next year it's going to go up quite a bit. So be able to stockpile some gas and fuel, whatever you need to, put it in cans, pick up some Stabil, pick up some seafoam, so that way it'll actually last better for you and have it available. Now, on top of that, any type of petroleum products, for example, greasing up gears and such in case you need it mechanically speaking, I always say buy white lithium grease. That's what I use for things. And so I'm going to put a link below for these things too, by the way, in case you want to pick some up. But obviously make sure you're ready on the gas and fuel stage because obviously it very well could be, in fact, probably will be rationed again. Number two, clothing and textiles. At the height of rationing, they were only given 3 coupons a month. And if you wanted to buy a dress, it cost 11 coupons. A men's shirt was 8. So obviously you would save up for months just to buy one item of clothing. So they did what they had to. They bought sewing kits and mended items. I think that's a skill or an art that's actually been lost in today's generation. We like to do that kind of stuff. But having a lot of extra clothes is available is good. We always say buy in bulk. And guess what? Black Friday is coming. And that is like the season of buying bulk clothes like socks, for example. So stock up now while you can. Number three, metal and rubber shortages. And you name it what was affected, cars, motorcycles, bicycles, even back then, today may actually go into tractors, quads, anything you need, basically, these side-by-sides, which are really fun to drive around. And tires were rationed too. So do what you can, try to get spare parts for your vehicles if possible, and even an extra set of tires too before, well, possibly rationing might start as well. Number four, canned foods. I'm always talking about canned foods, aren't I? Canned food is awesome. It lasts indefinitely. It does very well. Now, obviously, the metal shortages is one of the reasons they had canned food problems back in World War II. But even just food itself, trying to send it over to the soldiers to be able to fight was something they had to do. Not to mention a lot of the soldiers over there were farmers at one point. Stocking up with canned food is good. I always say, though, watch the ingredients. Don't buy some of the bioengineered garbage, which they're labeling now, which is good. At least they're labeling it. And stay away from the preservatives as well. Try to stock up on some of the more natural stuff as much as you can. And right now, since the stores are actually practically full of food, it's a perfect time to stock up. Number five, meat. When the rationing started in World War II, they allotted 2.5 pounds of meat per person per month, which is not bad. But soon it became only 1 pound per person in 5 weeks, even a longer period of time. So I always say canned meat is the way to go for this too. Canned meat, it may have a couple ingredients that may not be the best depending on it. Like, for example, corned beef, delicious, but some of the chemicals in there are not the best. But there's lots of things to choose from, obviously. Tuna and chicken and salmon, beautiful stuff, roast beef, the list goes on and on. Stock up in a lot of canned meat now while you can. Number six, coffee. Yeah, coffee keeps things going, doesn't it? And of course, even then too, a lot of the soldiers said, you know what, I don't care about the garbage food. I just want to make sure I have my cup of coffee a day. And 1 cup of coffee is what it was. Could you imagine today that happening? They're allotted 1 pound of coffee for 5 weeks, basically averaged out to having 1 cup a day. I think there'd be like a revolt in America for so many people who drink coffee. It is the most sold beverage in the world, by the way, and a lot of people, of course, depend on it to get going in the morning. I always recommend to get freeze-dried coffee because it's already freeze-dried. It's, the instant coffee stuff. It's already ready to go and will last indefinitely. Number seven, eggs. Talk about rationing. In World War II, 1 egg per day per person. That's crazy. Now today, I always say get chickens if you can. Zoning may not allow it. I just got an email from someone who said zoning didn't allow it, but they give some of the eggs to the neighbor who might complain, even though they have a rooster. And well, you know what? I'm not telling you to break the law, but we like having our chickens. Obviously, you can stock up in powdered eggs, buy it in bulk. It's a little on the pricier side, but it'll give you eggs in the future. Something else you can do to preserve your own eggs, you can pickle them, you can water glass them. Of course, if you have a freeze dryer, you can freeze dry eggs also. Number 8, sugar. And it's interesting, in World War II, it was the first one to be rationed, the last one to be taken off the ration list, and it was the most rationed item. Sugar was a hot commodity back then, and look at today's menu for everything in the grocery store. Sugar is a hot commodity item now. I always say, do what you can to get off sugar. Sugar is such bad. It's so bad for you. It's horrible. You can look at sugar substitutes, however, you want some flavor, having some syrup, Some honey is always a good thing. Or even like stevia. A lot of people go with stevia. You can actually buy stevia plants and seeds now and grow your own and actually make your own sugar substitute. It's a natural sugar. Not everybody can have stevia, I understand that. But sugar, definitely rationed back then, and I'm really curious if it's going to happen again. Number 9, salt. And this is pretty amazing. They were only allowed to have a half an ounce per person per day back in World War II. And I always say, for many reasons, not just food purposes, obviously, stock up in lots and lots of salt. So make sure you get as much as you can because, wow, if that gets rationed too, that could be obviously something that doesn't go along with even having your electrolytes and retaining your water. Number 10, cheese. In World War II, they're allotted 1 ounce of cheese per person per day. 1 ounce. Now, it's kind of tough as far as the cheese goes unless you have a cow in your backyard. You can buy giant bricks of cheese. Like we buy 5-pound bricks from Azure Standard. There's a link below. We'll be actually doing a pickup from them very soon. You can see kind of some of the stuff we get from them. But having that as far as cheese goes, put it in the fridge. You know, I would like to put mine in a vacuum sealer and put it in the fridge. It reduces the amount of mold. But even if it does get mold on it, it's superficial. All you have to do is slice it off and you can eat the rest of the cheese. And that's the kind of thing, when I first heard that, I was like, no way, but it really does work very well. Number 11, milk. In World War II, they're allowed 12 ounces of milk per person per day, which really isn't a lot. Even if you're not a milk drinker, milk is often used for a lot of recipes. Obviously, they had to do without in that situation. Today, we can buy a lot of powdered milk. A little bit on the pricier side, but it will go a long way, and you can go ahead and stockpile quite a bit of it. 12, butter. Obviously goes along with the milk shortages. They were allowed 2 ounces of butter per week, only 2 ounces. And so that was the golden age of bringing in margarine, nasty, nasty stuff. If you have margarine, guys, get off it. Real butter is really good for you. The margarine, even simply just made from vegetable oils, those vegetable oils themselves are not good for you either. It's so bad for you. And even then, if they ate margarine back in World War II, they were only allowed 4 ounces of margarine. Crazy. So what I always say to do, if you can, shop locally, see if there's a farm nearby, so you can actually get in with a farmer and do some kind of trading to be able to get some milk and butter from them. And there's a lot of good options as far as that goes. You can also buy butter powder, which works well, or ghee. You know, ghee is simply just the oil, removing the liquids from the butter, and it stores well in a jar. We have lots of ghee, but it's not super cheap either, and it's something you need to take in consideration. All right. All those things rationed in World War II. But obviously today is not World War II, or it's World War III. So I'm going to ask you, and I really mean it, put in the comments below, what do you think are some things that are going to ration next? I already have some in my mind, but I want to hear what you're thinking too. Put in the comments below, what's going to happen if we go into World War III? And if we do, what kind of rationing is going to take place of some of our new commodities and such? Put it in the comments below. And there's links below for some of the items in case you want to stock up on the stuff while you can ahead of time. And as always, thanks for watching.